Honorable viewers, today I'm going to talk to you about the Duchess of Malfi. At first, let's discuss character analysis. Duchess of Malfi. The Duchess of Malfi is portrayed with a many-sided personality, combining humor, dignity, sensuality, and courage. She is comfortable in her lofty position as ruler of a dominion. Yet she feels it is her right to woo a lower-status husband for love, and she does so with both passion and grace. In the second half of the play, her traits of courage and endurance are most on display. Her brother Ferdinand's obsessive campaign to drive her to madness and despair does not succeed, despite Ferdinand's extreme cruelty. After enduring imprisonment and psychological torture, the Duchess faces her death with philosophical resignation. Because of her admirable behavior, even the cynical Bossola comes to pity her and to repent his crimes. Daniel de Bossola, like the Duchess of Malfi, is a many-sided dynamic character. He starts the play as a cynical criminal, known for his melancholy. Something of a social striver, he allows himself to be recruited by Ferdinand as a spy. Even though the Cardinal, Ferdinand's brother and Bossola's former employer, treated Bossola poorly. Portrayed as quick-witted and as a master of deception, Bossola is also something of a misogynist, as shown in his dialogues with the old lady in Act 2. He cooperates with Ferdinand's cruel plans yet shows increasing unwillingness to do so, as even he becomes repelled by such tactics. After the Duchess is murdered, Bossola's conscience wins out, and he becomes a vehicle for revenge against Ferdinand and the Cardinal. Unfortunately, he deals with Antonio a lethal blow by accident, the very man he wanted to protect. Bossola's nihilistic comments about moral and physical corruption contribute to a key theme in the play. Ferdinand, whose title is Duke of Calabria, is the most psychologically unbalanced character in the play. Act 1 begins by portraying him as an unpredictable tyrant, bending his courtiers to his petty whims. But it is soon apparent Ferdinand is also a master of deception. He engages Bossola as his household spy at the Duchess's court, where Bossola is appointed master of the horse. Ferdinand's main objective is to monitor the Duchess's marital status. He hopes to profit financially and harbors incestuous desires for his sister. After he learns the Duchess has borne a child, Ferdinand vents his rage with anger akin to insanity, shocking even the Cardinal. From this scene onward, Ferdinand exhibits a steady decline into sadism and then lunacy, specifically lycanthropy, which has him believing he is a wolf. The Cardinal is portrayed as evil, cruel, and calculating, more restrained outwardly than his younger brother. The Cardinal, too, opposes any remarriage by his sister, the Duchess of Malfi, probably for motives of jealousy and greed. In Act 1, when the Cardinal refuses to compensate Bossola for his services, the inference is the prelate, a high-ranking prince of the church, which is exploitative and deceitful. He acts menacingly toward the Duchess as well. His cynical treatment of women is apparent in his dialogue with Julia in Act 2, Scene 4. Snobbery, too, is part of his character, as shown by his comment on the royal blood of Aragon and Castile in Act 2, Scene 5. In Act 5, Scene 2, he profanes a Bible by applying poison to it so he can murder Julia, his mistress. Finally, he suffers a momentary twinge of conscience before Bossola and Ferdinand fatally stab him. Antonio Bologna's first extended speech in the play is an eloquent commendation of the Duchess of Malfi. The ground is thus prepared for the Duchess's wooing of him later in the act and for their chamber wedding contract. Antonio is uncorrupted and shows himself loyal to the Duchess, whom he loves and admires. As the play unfolds, Antonio grows steadily in courage and resourcefulness until he is ready to confront the cardinal. One of the most poignant moments in the drama is his farewell with the Duchess when Antonio, banished from Ancona, flees to Milan. He and the Duchess will never see each other again despite their love. Let's see a short summary of the Duchess of Malfi. The tragic play The Duchess of Malfi by English writer John Webster was first performed in 1612 and published in 1623. It is based on events that took place in the early years of the 16th century. It tells the story of a duchess who married outside of her social class in a love story that becomes a tragedy when her two brothers seek revenge. The play is a typical Elizabethan tragedy in which horror and violence are commonplace and is numbered among the greatest English Renaissance dramas. The Duchess of Malfi is set in Italy, for the most part at the palace of the Duchess in Malfi during the 16th century. The young Duchess is a widow. Her brothers Ferdinand and the Cardinal are visiting her, and Antonio, who manages the household, has recently returned from France in order to have a spy in place to report the Duchess's actions to the brothers after they leave. Ferdinand hires Bossola under the guise of having him tend to the Duchess's horses. The reason for putting Bossola in place is to assure that the Duchess remains celibate and does not get remarried. Bossola is not keen on the idea, but agrees. Prior to leaving the Duchess to return to Rome, the brothers remind her that it would be improper for her to remarry. She says she has no intention of doing so and resents their trying to control her. Secretly, however, she has a plan to marry Antonio. When she and Antonio soon wed, she tells him that she will be able to handle the situation with her brothers. 9 months after the first act, the Duchess is pregnant. Bossola suspects that she might be and to determine for himself whether she is, he gives her apricots which were thought to be labor-inducing. When the Duchess takes them and falls ill, Antonio and Delio, a courtier, confer over how to keep her labor a secret. Bossola, meanwhile, feels he knows the truth and is further convinced when he finds the horoscope Antonio has prepared for the baby. Bossola sends a letter to Ferdinand and the Cardinal telling them what he has learned. Both of the brothers are furious at the news, but unlike Ferdinand, who is uncontrollably angry, the Cardinal is able to approach it with a calm head, not knowing that their sister is married. The brothers assume that the baby was born out of wedlock. Ferdinand decides to delay any further action until he learns the identity of the child's father. 2 more years pass as the third act opens. The Duchess and Antonio have had 2 more children during this time. Ferdinand has returned to the Duchess's palace and Antonio and Delio guess that he somehow knows about the Duchess's children. Ferdinand bursts into the Duchess's bedroom. She informs him that she is married and his response is one of anger. He tells her that she should never let him know who her lover is or they will all be the recipient of his wrath. He then disowns her, in an effort to protect Antonio. She pretends that he has committed a theft. She banishes him from Malfi, sending him to Ancona. After he is gone, Bossola defends him to the Duchess, which moves her to the point of sharing with Bossola the truth that they are secretly married. Bossola then pretends to be in support of the Duchess and she gives him money to bring to Antonio. He is to tell him that she will join him soon. The Cardinal finds them in Ancona a few days later and has the Duchess, along with her family, banished. As they are leaving Ancona, Bossola delivers to the Duchess a letter from Ferdinand, which he presents as one of forgiveness even though it is actually a threat, which she suspects. She has Antonio and their oldest son go on separately. Shortly after they leave, Bossola and some soldiers take the Duchess and her other 2 children as prisoners and bring them back to the palace of the Duchess. As Act 4 opens, Ferdinand is angered to find that the Duchess is holding up well in imprisonment. In an attempt to break her, Ferdinand shows her wax corpses of her family members to convince her they are dead. Bossola tries to stop Ferdinand from torturing the Duchess, but to no avail. Bossola is sent to her disguised as a tomb maker to prepare her for death. Like other attempts, this too fails to affect her. She remains calm from the thought that she will now join her family members whom she presumes are dead. The executioners arrive with Bossola strangle her. The killing of the Duchess is followed by those of her children and Cariola, her trusted lady-in-waiting. Upon seeing the body of his dead sister, Ferdinand is remorseful and blames Bossola for following his orders. Ferdinand begins to display signs of growing insanity. As the Duchess takes her final breath, Bossola tells her that Antonio is still alive. Antonio is unaware of the deaths of his wife and children as Act 5 commences. By this time, Ferdinand suffers from lycanthropy, believing himself to be a wolf. The cardinal pretends to know nothing about the death of his sister and offers Bossola a reward to kill Antonio. Next, the cardinal's mistress, Julia, tells Bossola that it is he that she loves, and through her Bossola is able to force the cardinal to admit his role in the murder of the Duchess. The play ends with a series of events including the cardinal killing Julia, Bossola accidentally killing Antonio, Ferdinand stabbing the cardinal and Bossola killing Ferdinand. Just before he and the cardinal die, Bossola tells the attending courtiers all that has transpired. Delio and the courtiers vow to raise the only surviving member of the family, the eldest son, as a legacy to his parents who met with tragic ends. That's all about today's topic for the time being. Thanks to your patience hearing.